MovieWeb.com.
So I did enjoy the movie, and I wanted to begin by asking you, because when we first see your character in the relationship she's in the beginning of the film, they've been together for a while, they're engaged, and we start to see the relationship is having some trouble. Can you talk about where we begin with the film?
Yeah, I think you begin with these two characters on the precipice of, you know, making a really big decision, kind of pretending it's not a big decision, wanting to do things differently, not knowing how, and they're both struggling with their fear about that in different ways. And I think my character instinctively like pulls away. I mean, there's not a lot of intimacy going on with them, and then in turn, or at the same time, Chris's character Theo goes elsewhere to be satisfied voyeuristically.
Yeah, and actually your character sort of catches him very early in the film, kind of catches him looking at these pictures he's taken on the computer. Can you talk about how Nat is feeling when she catches him?
Yeah, well, I that was a big part of why I liked the script, because when she catches him, she's kind of into it.
Right.
You know, and she's supportive. She's not like a prude, you know, she's not conservative about it, and it's actually like a thing that she uses to kind of, you know, it's like like sex play for them, even though she can't really. There's clearly like a subconscious block where she's not able to connect with him, but she's kind of into it, and I like that was the thing probably in the script that made me think, oh, I want to do this movie, because that's an interesting character.
Yeah, yeah, definitely an interesting choice. But then it sort of starts to turn. At what point for her does his obsession kind of take over?
Well, I think this is kind of common for girls. I think women are so independent now, and they've asked for less from men, and in a way that's good, in a way that's bad, because they've asked for less from men. Men have to do less, and now they're kind of doing like nothing. They're like living at home with their moms and like in the basement playing Call of Duty with their friends, or like 14-year-olds online. And they're not really, there's no duty of being a man. Like there used to be these roles of what it was to be a woman, what it was to be a man, and because women shattered their roles, they've also subsequently shattered a man's role. So, you know, I think that Nat gets upset because he's not there for her. I don't think she cares why it is that she's not there for him. It's more the fact that she's just not there. But I think that's the kind of thing, it's like, you give an arm and you take a whole,
give an inch and take a mile.
Give an inch and take a mile. It's the kind of thing where I think she's trying to be cool because she's having her own fear and she doesn't want to judge him. But then he doesn't show up for her. So it doesn't really matter what the impulse was. It's just the fact that he's so distant and not being even a good boyfriend, you know?
Well, yeah, and he misses a performance that she's doing, and then she's
like,
not around when she's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Do you think that was sort of the beginning of the end for the relationship when that happens?
Definitely. And I think even then she's trying to be understanding. I think she's upset. She wants to forgive him, and he's just not giving her that many reasons. He's being so destructive, you know?
Yeah. What is it that she's looking for him? I think he even says at one point, "What is it that you want from me?" Is it just that to be present, just to be present?
Just to be there. I mean, I think that's the thing I think that men maybe miss about women, that women need to communicate better to men, is that when we're upset, even if it's a shitstorm, I don't know if I can say that, but
yeah, you know.
All we want is for you to be there and rub our backs and be like, it's going to be okay. We don't want you to solve the problem. We don't want you to run and hide. We don't want you to talk it out with us. We just want you to sit there and be like, I understand. It must suck.
Yeah, I think men get stressed out sometimes they think they have to solve the problem.
They do, and we don't want you to. We just want you to be there.
Just to be supportive.
That's it. I feel like everybody would get along if we could understand that better.
Yeah. There's the sort of final fight scene between your characters in the film. Was that scripted? Was there any sort of free? Because it was very natural and real and seemed very organic and free.
Yeah. If there was a small script, it might have been something like, I can't do this anymore. And he says, nah, wait, or something. It was like a very small script. And Dana, the director, gave us a lot of room. You know, he gave us the directive of, whatever it is, Chris, just don't say anything. Don't really say anything, but you want to, but you don't say anything. And then mine was just kind of like trying to get him to say something to make me stay.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what happened. because we were just, you know, it's just like that, those things being the metaphor for the larger thing. It's like, you know, you just can't find a way to communicate what you need to communicate to make it work.
Yeah.
So sad.
Yeah, it is. Do you think that they stay together in the end? Because it's a little ambiguous, the actual ending of the film.
No.
What's your opinion?
They did it on purpose. I kind of like that, actually. It's very, like, Tootsie was kind of
It works great for the movie, but I was just curious what you think happens.
I think probably, yeah. I think a lot of times I've seen this with my guy friends. They screw up bad with their girlfriends, or the girlfriends are like, peace, I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore. You're not committing to me. And then they have to have this, like, you know, solitary revelation where they can't live without that girl, and then they come back around, and they just like flip a switch. Guys are good like that, where they make a decision like, oh, I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna make it work. So I do kind of think that they end up together.
Interesting, yeah. And then finally, you get to perform, you get to sing in this movie, and you have a beautiful singing voice. I really enjoyed it. Were you nervous at all about sort of showing that the talent? Okay.
More nervous about that than probably anything I've ever done in a movie, except work for David Fincher. But besides that, I was super nervous because there was an audience of extras who were probably like, who the hell is this girl and why is she singing? And I find music to be so exposing, and I was really, really nervous. But that was also luckily part of the character, because Nat was an open mic night, and she was just like a new performer, and I could use it.